The Federal High Court in Abuja has convicted the self-acclaimed leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, of terrorism against the federal government. Hi, welcome to What's Happening. These are our top 10 stories countdown today. At number 10. Pakistani security forces killed 30 militants in several operations near the Afghan frontier in recent days. The army said Thursday, after a suicide bombing last week killed 12 people in Islamabad. The militants belong to the Pakistani Taliban or its affiliated groups. The military said in a statement accusing Akfor, India, of backing them. At number 9, Nigeria have risen 3 places to 38 in the latest FIFA Men's World Ranking announced on Wednesday, following a month in which the Super Eagles played 2 competitive fixtures. Punch Sports Extra reports. The ranking update, which covered 149 national team outings worldwide since the previous release, reflects Nigeria's 4-1 victory over Gabon and the 1-1 draw with the DR Congo that ended in a 4-3 penalty defeat in the African playoff. Despite the heartbreak of missing out on the 2026 World Cup, those results were sufficient to nudge the Super Eagles up the table. At number 8, the Federal Capital Territory Police Command on Thursday said its operatives stopped an attempted kidnapping in Guto village, a border community in Bauchi Area Council. The armed men, numbering about 30, reportedly invaded the community and attempted to force their way into a residence. A statement by the command spokesperson, Josephine Ade, said police operatives from the Bauchi Division Surveillance Team and the IGP Special Intervention Squad were deployed to the area. She added that the attackers opened fire upon sighting the security teams, leading to a gun duel in which 2 suspects were killed while others escaped into nearby bushes. At number 7, the Kwara State government on Wednesday ordered the closure of schools across 4 local government areas amid escalating insecurity in some communities. The government's decision was disclosed by the Nigerian Union of Teachers in Kwara State. Agbola explained that the union was acting strictly on instructions from the Ministry of Education and Human Capital Development after the government raised concerns over fresh security threats in Kwara South. At number 6, a federal high court in Ibadan has restrained the Soun of Ogbomoso Oba Gandhi Olaoye from sacking the executive of the Egbe Ogbomoso Parapo Agbaye and imposing a caretaker committee. The Nation reports that the monarch had earlier in September pronounced the dissolution of the association's executive and announced Professor Josiah Ajiboye as acting president, heading a caretaker committee pending the election of a new substantive executive. At number 5, the Bauchi State government has expressed sorrow and sympathy to the government and people of Kebbi State over the attack on Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School MAGA in Danko Wasagu local government area. The message of sympathy was conveyed in a statement made available to journalists in Bauchi on Thursday by the public relations officer of the Ministry of Education, Jalaluddin Maina. At number 4, the Ogun State Police Command says its men have arrested a motorcyclist conveying a fresh corpse suspected to be that of his wife. The suspect was arrested during a stop and search operation in the Ilaro area of the Yewa South local government area of the state. This was disclosed in a statement issued in Abeokuta, the state capital, by the police public relations officer, Omolala Odutola. At number 3, suspected bandits have launched another attack in Kwara State, abducting 4 rice farmers in Bokungi village, Edo local government area. Sources said that the latest incident occurred on Wednesday evening while the victims were working on their rice farms during the peak of the harvest season. According to a community source, the attackers arrived suddenly and surrounded the farmers as they were gathering their harvested rice. At number 2, the Central Bank of Nigeria has disowned Zuldal Microfinance Bank Limited, warning that the entity is operating illegally and without any form of regulatory approval. The Apex Bank said its attention had been drawn to reports that the firm, which claims to operate branches in Lagos, Abuja, Kaduna, and Kano, presents itself as a CBN licensed microfinance bank. At number 1, the Federal High Court in Abuja has convicted the self-acclaimed leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, of terrorism against the federal government. Justice James Omotosho, while delivering judgment, said the prosecution proved its case in the 7 counts against Kanu beyond a reasonable doubt. That's all for today. See you next time on What's Happening.